Hey everybody, it's Trags alongside CLNS media colleague Evan Lazar. Tom Brady, after a 27-20 win, he wasn't thrilled. His numbers 26 of 39, 277 yards, 3 touchdowns, even a 102 rating, Evan. But why wasn't he happy after the game?
Well, I think that part of it is just that Tom is never happy until, it's really clicking. Usually this time of year, it's kind of a grind for these guys as they kind of get back into the swing of things and get things going. Right. So I think that part of it is kind of just that Tom is not ever happy. I don't think we've ever seen him necessarily thrilled about any game afterwards, after.
But you know what, Evan? Last year, he was really ticked off after obviously the Thursday night opener loss to Kansas City. Right. Everybody remembers that car ride home, that long car ride home with Giselle comforting Tom. It's not going to be like that after this win over the Texans, but still, I think there were moments in this game where he thought he could have really put the foot on the gas, leading the Patriots offense, and failed to do so, settling for field goals. A couple of Stephen Gostkowski field goals under 40 yards. That's usually a bad sign for Tom Brady.
I think that's where the anger, I don't want to call it anger, frustration maybe stems from Tom, was that they had an opportunity to really blow this Texans teams out, and they kind of left the door open. A couple punts at the end of the fourth quarter too, some inopportune turnovers. I know he's not going to necessarily get nicked for the tip pass, but to him it's a turnover, and it was a turnover in the red zone for the Texans. They swung right back and kicked it. Ended up only getting a field goal. It was a good defensive stand, but those types of plays, not closing the door on this Texans team and really putting the foot to the gas, like you said, I think is probably where a lot of that frustration stems from.
I thought the most interesting thing Tom Brady said to us after the game was, if we don't trust you, we're not going to get you on the field. We're not going to go to you as much. Look, I mean, Chris Hogan did not have a big game, and I'm not necessarily saying Tom Brady has lost faith in Chris Hogan, but you've got to have, I think, a bigger game for Chris Hogan, or Chris Hogan has to step up. I mean, James Devlin, for goodness sakes, had 4 catches in this game, and one big one on a third down conversion late. Yeah,
I think that, maybe that was where some of it stemmed from too. His connection with Chris Hogan wasn't necessarily there. His connection with James White, which usually is automatic. James White catches about 75% of the passes he gets from Tom Brady most of the time. Today there are more incompletions than we're used to seeing. So I think that overall, maybe a little bit of inconsistency, some 3-and-outs that he wasn't happy with, and also at the end where they didn't really, step on the Texans' throat, I think is where Tom is kind of a little frustrated.
And, obviously everybody's going to remember the one James White reception. Nobody covered him for the touchdown in the right flat. And I think Tom's other message is Rob Gronkowski can't do everything on offense. He can't be the eraser, if you will, all the time.
Yeah, I think that he saw some things from Dorsett that he liked today. I think it was all the other guys besides Dorsett and obviously Gronk that really he was hoping was going to step up a little bit more before Julian Edelman comes back. Next week is going to be a huge test for this team against Jacksonville.
Right.
One of the best defenses in the league. Obviously, Houston has a really good defense, but I thought that they were better on paper than they were with execution, especially today. So I think we're going to see a very difficult matchup for the Patriots next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think Tom is looking ahead to that Jaguars game and saying, we got to be better than this if we're going to beat that team. He remembers how good that defense played in the AFC Championship game. It really took them to the fourth quarter until they really started putting up points against them. If this offense goes there and plays the same way it did today, I think that he's thinking that we're going to lose that game.
Good, not great. That's how Tom Brady felt about his offense here on Sunday following a 27-20 Patriots win over the Houston Texans. He's Evan Lazar. I'm Mike Petralia, CLNS Media.